Hi there. It is the last Friday of March 2024, and I'm finally back outside. It has been typical but crazy spring weather, lots of insanely intense storms, and you can kind of see by the lack of any of the weeds that we have seen since I have been coming down here um, over the winter time that the water level has risen really high. And as we're walking back, you'll be able to notice that. So I apologize for not posting for the last few weeks. Um, on let's see, right before the time changed, I, as you know, live in a rural area, so I tend to not go very many places. And that first week of March, I I had to run some errands, and I ended up catching COVID for the first time ever. Not knowing that I caught COVID, it took me about a week to figure that out. I just wasn't feeling good. We had some crazy storms. I thought I was being delusional. I thought I had allergies. I thought maybe I had a sinus infection, which I used to get a lot. Anyway, I, of course, had some tests that I didn't realize were expired. So by the time I ended up getting um, a new test, I was already a week into the symptoms and my fever had gone away. Anyway, so it was about 2.5 weeks. I finally tested negative the other day. I'm not having coughing, and my headaches are gone and my energy is back. So I wanted to make sure that I got through at least one episode in March so that we could see the water. And it is pretty intense down here what the storms have done. Remember, because I normally stand kind of where that log is. You can see how wide the river is today. And all these are newly deposited. And you can, let's walk over here. Um, and it's been several days since it's rained, so I can come back out here, but it's pretty cool to see, the waves of how intense the water speed can get on a small river like this. And remember, I was telling you that one year this was all washed out, all these rocks, and it was like a big swimming hole right here. And then it filled back up again. And here's the log that sometimes sit on. And it looks like our landmark log with the mushrooms has broken finally and gone away. So it is after 6 o'clock. The sun is setting. It's bright in my eyes, but it's wild to be down here. And it's kind of like the water kind of cleaned some of this out, but then also has left like all these like wild deposits, right? The sculptures, nature sculptures, and debris stuck inside things. Let me find a nice little spot over here. So I've been getting things fixed, getting a car fixed, getting a lawnmower fixed. And then, even though I was sick and had kind of like low energy, thinking I had the flu or cold or something, I still had to do my daily activities, right? I had to get up and feed the chickens and feed the donkeys and maneuver my way. So I'm definitely glad I got year 4 version rather than year 1 version. And ironically, it was all around the anniversary of when the pandemic became a pandemic. So my heart goes out to everybody who has had any situation, lost family members, experiencing long COVID, all of those different things. So I just thought that I would do something really quick today. And because the water's pretty high, I'll read and then we'll walk back up. Oh, wow, this is pretty cool. Wow, look at that. So that, I still have a little bit of a cold. This log here has been on the ground because I know that I've sat on that. So the water level this past couple of weeks was high enough to lift that up, but it's getting stuck, right? Because there's two trees in the way. So it's collecting all of this debris. This is why you don't want to be around the water when stuff like that happens, right? But it is also that kind of like lesson. And I had to do that lesson that I talk about with going with the riptide, being sick and not realizing how sick that I was, and just kind of managing to, um, get through daily activities. Wow, that's really cool. It's made a giant nature sculpture. It's like those pickup sticks, pixie sticks or whatever they are. Yeah, so those logs are not going anywhere because there's so many trees on this island that when the water comes down, so it's at least over my head, at least 10 feet tall of water down here. Pretty amazing. So anyway, I thought that I would just go down here where it's nice and quiet and read a couple of poems, make this a quick and dirty thing. I also had to crawl under the house that is a short-term retreat rental space several times while I was sick to fix some plumbing from the winter situation, and I recorded that, so I'm just editing the description and everything. I'm making that live soon as well. Let's watch the water from right over here. So anyway, okay. I'm gonna put you on pause and turn. And the wild thing is, a lot of times storms pass here on weekends. It's really weird because you can watch them on the radar. And one really intense one hit, like major lightning, like all night long. That like right after the time changed, that whole week I was not feeling good. And so whatever that Friday was, the 15th, 16th, whatever that was, insane amount of rain. Okay, there's two poems I'll read today from the book. This is what we're reading. We're in the Mindfulness section. This is by Wallace Stevens, 1879 to 1955. The study of two pairs, and there are 6 stanzas. Opusculum pedagogum. The pairs are not vials, nudes, or bottles. They resemble nothing else. Their yellow forms composed of curves, bulging toward the base, they are touched red. They are not flat surfaces having curved outlines. They are round, tapering toward the top. In the way they are modeled, there are bits of blue. A hard, dry leaf hangs from the stem. The yellow glistens. It glistens with various yellows, citrons, oranges, and greens, flowering over the skin. The shadows of the pears are blobs on the green cloth. The pears are not seen as the observer wills. Okay, this one is really long. It's called The Fish by Elizabeth Bishop, but it's like 4 pages. So I'm going to skip to a Robert Frost, which is next in line, called Hyla Brook. And Robert Frost is obviously super famous, 1874 to 1963. I bet that was an amazing time to live through, kind of the early Industrial Revolution, through the 2 world wars. Like, what a time to be alive. And I imagine that influenced Robert Frost so much in his poetry. Hyla Brook. By June, our brooks run out of song and speed. Sought for much after that, it will be found, either to have gone groping underground and taken with it all the Hyla breed that shouted in the mist a month ago, like ghost of sleigh bells in a ghost of snow, or flourished and come up in jewel weed, weak foliage that is blown upon and bent, even against the way its waters went. Its bed is left a faded paper sheet of dead leaves stuck together by the heat. A brook to none but who remember long. This as it will be seen, is other far than with brooks taken otherwhere in song. We love the things we love for what they are. I'll just repeat that. It's not part of the poem, but we love the things we love for what they are. So the water is flowing pretty good. It's gonna make me a little thirsty. I've been mowing. I'm a mess. Fixed the mower and got super excited because I haven't been able to mow with a riding mower, which I don't do very often anyway, because I'm trying to understand the habitat and leave some of the things for the wild. I've discovered goldenrod and all sorts of things, but what has also popped up are brambles, which are big, thick thorns, and they can grow very high. So I'm kind of like letting things be untamed, but now having to kind of go back and manicure a little bit. I hate manicuring uh, like a golf course. That's not the case that I'm dealing with. But anyway, um, I've been wanting to get down here, and that is to follow through on this commitment. If you're still watching, my name is Val. Thank you for finding this video. I'm trying to make that commitment to myself and to share it with you, to spend time at least once a week, twice a month, something like that, forcing myself to come down and see all of the changes that happen through time and through seasons, through all the crazy rainstorms down here, and enjoy the quiet and peacefulness. And I want to share that with you as this contrast to how much social media and how much scrolling we can do, and how much we're bombarded by content and sounds and responsibilities. And work has gone from that labor movement of the time period of Robert Frost growing up, of like Industrial Revolution and then early 1900s, and like labor movements, and like everyone demanding like workers' rights and weekends and all those things. And now that we have so much technology, and everyone, I feel like, is like, we've abandoned those boundaries, and trying to be available 24/7, and all that kind of stuff is really harming us individually and impacting society. in ways that maybe we don't realize, right? So anyway, I'm trying to just kind of put a little rock in the ripple of things and encourage people to just do something that makes you, like, I'm trying to connect human to this kind of human experience on this earth at this particular moment in time. And that's why I'm enjoying watching the seasons. So I've started preparing for some gardening, and been watching some gardening videos and really working on um, garden stuff. So I'm working on editing that content at some point too. But yes, last night I was in the garden, and there's like 3 sprouts of asparagus. So this is like my 4th year of asparagus. So I think that's going to be amazing. And it's just so crazy um, how fast just like spring comes along, and every, like there's so much more daylight time to accomplish things, which is why I'm down here, and it's like almost 6:30. So let's take a walk back up, and we can look at kind of where the water hit some of these really funky trees, and look back down from the bluff. It's pretty high. I've been looking up there, and say farewell until April. Let's see if I can get up from these rocks. The rocks are cool. The water is comfortable. Fine rocks with holes in them. I'm not sure I can carry anything up today, but let's go look at some of these other nature sculptures. The way that the water like made these, carving this stuff out is pretty cool. Can't see much with the sun setting, but yeah, look how wild that is with the way the trees, huge trees, and then they get stuck here because there's trees in the way. So I wouldn't have been able to come down here anyway if I hadn't been feeling good, because there was so much water. It's just not safe. More Annie Goldsworthy sculpture, nature sculptures. And you can just see they might uproot some of this stuff if enough of the rocks are taken away. Let me go around this guy. So one of the things that I try to encourage people to do is to go out into nature, or just try a different path than you normally might, and notice what you're noticing. Go slow, learn how to slow down, and did you hear the bird? And not be impatient. Someone has less groceries than you, then let them go ahead of you, or not rushing to get the perfect parking spot, right? And maybe finding a parking spot that's under shade so you can walk. And again, I love how this tree's roots allow water to flow through. Now, I did have some guests on their spring break, a family with some teenagers, and they told me that they were down here and they made a little campfire. So they found this set of rocks over here, and this was a pretty safe, sheltery area. So you will see a recent campfire from that family. So this is a nice little cove here for that to occur. It's nice and still, and you can see all the grass, how it's knocked over, right? And this, at one time I had like a tractor guy come down here, and it was all flat. So you can definitely see how the water is coming in and making its waves. More. Okay, so when we go up here, normally I've been coming through there, right? But the can't walk out there right now. But you can see how how high the water was, pushing all the debris away. These rocks are from getting the trail down here. Some really pretty wildflowers are in bloom. Look at that. That's cool. Let's see. Okay. Oh, yeah. Can you see all the blue pops down there? Okay. So the water line was probably about like right here, because you can see like the way that the grass is down, and then also there's a color shift in the leaf. There's no leaves right here. So the water was up to here, which might be at least right from. You can see the tree trunk is about my height right now. So I bet that the river was at least 10 feet higher than it normally is, with that amount of rain, right? So if it's raining everywhere in the area, it all has to go somewhere. The other thing that's happened is there's literally so much rain the last couple of weeks that it has created some big troughs, which I don't really have the time to deal with right now. But let's go see what's exposed up here. So we are in an area called the Western Highland Rim. This means that there's sandstone, limestone, chert. So that's why you're seeing the layers underneath this trail. So one of the other things, I totally lost my voice because I was coughing and I had like sinus drainage, and so that first week was like, am I sick? Do I have allergies? Took a test, was negative, but then I realized that it was an expired test because I've lost all track of time for the last few years. So by the time I got another ordered test, I've been having symptoms for a week. And by then, you're not really eligible for any of the medicine. So you kind of have to ride it out, as you probably already know. Anyway, first week was more intense. And that we had also the really intense rainstorm. So it was kind of good to be able to just go to sleep early with rain. And then the second week was like, am I going to get over this now that I know what it is? Okay, here we are up the top here. Like I said, we've lost our landmark, but I can still kind of see a little bit of the mushrooms. And we usually walk a little bit this way before I say goodbye. You're going to start to see all the leaves sprouting And some mushrooms. Oh yeah, I'm so excited to show these to you. These are, I'll have to look them up and put in the description. These only occur in a certain kind of temperature and like undergrowth environment, and it'll look like a giant city here. Do you see them all? Over there, and it goes around this tree. It's the only spot, like this section here, all the way up in there, and then a little bit over. It's the only spot I've seen these particular mushrooms out here. And these are a spring. Also get these like funky little Totoro umbrella, rain umbrella things. I don't know what those are. I have to look those up. So our greens are changing. And probably by the next week, a lot of the leaves will be, the trees will be more in bloom. Anyway, you can really see the island and the flow of the water. I have been up here a couple of times when it's been really flooding and kind of crawl down and hang out on the ledge right down there. And I think that was 2021 when we had some pretty good flooding rain after a week's worth of snow. The other thing is I've discovered that the term for that area that we just walked through is called the riparian zone. So that is really fun thing. If you're a science person or if this interests you, you can research a little bit more. I appreciate your time. I am, like I said, trying to create content that is more calming, encouraging us to go slow, encouraging us to spend a dose of time into nature and create a routine, even if it's, can't get to it every week or every day. Build something in that makes us connect to our humanity and kind of the moment in time and place that we have. Please like and subscribe. If you know anyone who has accessibility issues, or you're just in a different geographic area and you're enjoying seeing this part of Tennessee, leave me a comment and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.